This is the end of the church year. The Feast of Christ the King is the final Sunday of the year. Next week, when we have the first Sunday of Advent, we begin the new church year. So, if any of you are looking for an additional reason to celebrate this weekend, it's New Year's. So, in taking this past year of grace, in bringing it to a conclusion by proclaiming Christ, our King, I wanted to give you something that I hope you'll be familiar with, but you're going to allow to carry you into this new year, carry you forward. All of us. Yes, of course, certainly you candidates. Yes, of course, you teens and those of you preparing for confirmation. But all of us. One of the sacraments that we celebrate a lot here at Holy Apostles is reconciliation, confession. And that doesn't mean that this is a horrible, awful place just filled with sinners. No, that's not what I'm saying. But nevertheless, there are many who on a regular basis choose to make use of that sacrament. And when you're hearing confessions, a lot of times you're going to hear some wonderful, some very powerful things. A lot of times you're going to feel so blessed to be there because you have the privilege of reassuring people that God has forgiven them, that God does love them so much. But unfortunately, a lot of what I hear in confession is still fear. Well, I better confess this because I don't want to go to hell. And I know that if I don't confess it, that God's just waiting. So weeks ago, I told myself that the message that I wanted us to make sure that we get on the Feast of Christ the King is that Christ has told us about a God who is loving, about a God who is so committed to us, and a God who is reasonable. We sometimes get the sense that God cares about every single little petty thing. And we're not perfect. And God holds that against us. And it's not true. God does not expect the impossible from us. God understands our lives. God understands our lives better than we do very often. And if He has such incredible love for us, which He does, He knows what's going on in our hearts. He knows we're trying. Yes, we still have room to grow. Yes, we still have to be humble enough to ask for God's help and the help of others. But God is not trying to just set every little trap in front of us that he possibly can. That's the message of Jesus. That's the gospel, the good news. That's what the resurrection tells us. I just want to give you a quote, and it's a beautiful statement from one of my favorite authors, and he's also somebody who was one of my profs in the seminary, and that's a miracle in itself that a prof would be a favorite author, but we won't go there. This is by Father Gene Walsh. And please, if there's anything for you to take into the new church year, for you to take into the next steps on your journey, it's this. God, our God, is a life-giving God, a loving God. For us, he is nothing else. God loves us, all of us, all people, without reservation or exception. God never stops loving us. God loves us when we are in sin just as much as when we are out of sin. We cannot win God's love. We cannot lose God's love. His covenant words uttered on Sinai for his chosen people stand firm forever. I am your God. You are my people. I have chosen you. I choose you. I will save you. I will never let you go.